Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're checking out Bricky's Lies of P. Might have the best Souls-like gameplay I've played. Now, I have heard of the game Lies of P, and let's just be upfront about this. This is literally the absolutely worst name they could have possibly chosen. Look at me, look at me. I have the maturity of a 5-year-old. I am fighting right now to not say any joke that my 5-year-old sense of humor is craving. It is very hard. I'm not going there. Self-control. I can pretend to have it. This is going to be a hard, difficult video. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up, and let's just see how much Bricky can contain himself before he makes the joke I'm trying so difficultly not to do.
Let's talk about Pinocchio.
Oh, so it was Pinocchio. I thought that was a joke. Yeah, I'm not playing this game.
Game of the year from the upcoming films Wonka and Dune Part 2. Please welcome YouTuber Modded Controller 360.
Who? I feel I'm missing something obvious. Is that the character from Lies of P? Yeah, it's Pinocchio.
So I feel as if making a Souls game is simultaneously an enviable and
Wait, it's actually a guy walking around in a Santa hat? Huh.
unenviable task. Like, on one hand,
Oh.
the general mechanics
Oh, I know this one. That was knockoff vampire game that had a lot of the anime aesthetic. Let's leave it at that for YouTube compliance reasons.
of the game are already laid bare for you. A heavy emphasis
I sucked at it.
on defense being related to dodging, weapon mechanics following the concept of fast, slow, and magic.
Don't recognize this
a
one.
leveling economy based on reviving enemies, and then you get to put your own spin on it at the end. You know, that part I can feel is at least a little bit enviable. What's even better though is that since the Souls
Oh, Sylvian. Oh, which one was this? Is that the first or the second game? Probably the second.
games are so beloved by the wider gaming populace that we can charitably be defined as masochists, there is a chance that you will garner a small audience thanks to the genre alone.
Yeah.
This can maybe be seen as like an oversimplification of it, sure, but this
Considering this only came out only 9 days ago, I'm a little surprised he hasn't mentioned Elden Ring yet. Usually as soon as you say Souls, that's what comes to mind first.
Despite that, like a Souls-like game can do very well based on the fact that its genre alone is Souls-like. The
Yeah.
unenviable task.
Crazy that it has
how
established
good
that.
your game is. Not
Wait, what is that?
How hard you try to make it its own thing. It will always be just dragged back to the
Yep.
soft layer and compared to the mainline Dark Souls.
Okay, there's the Elden Ring reference, and Bloodborne still not... Wait, it had a remake on PS4? Oh, I missed that.
Titles. No matter how much you make it your own and steer away from the
Everyone's gonna think it's just
formula,
Souls.
you will almost never be considered on the same level.
Sekiro, I know that
on
one.
The same caliber. From Software Souls games are a glass ceiling, and you will stay making 77 cents to their dollar. So when Lies of P released, I did a little sponsored stream for them,
Oh.
showcasing it alongside
Oh. Okay, we have seen the new Twitch meta. Topless beanbag streaming. Okay. Although I will admit, I kind of like Bricky's bag. Future me, edit that one out. That's, I really could have phrased that better. I really should think before I speak. I really should. I'm not going to, but I should.
it alongside the strengths with AMD hardware, basically. This was a last minute thing I just put together.
AMD hardware? Oh,
right,
Master.
on tabletop, and
Oh yeah, he does Warhammer. Oh, he plays Chaos? I shouldn't be surprised. Against Space Marines? Oh, Salamanders. Oh, sorry, I need to check this out. I heard he stopped the stream, but maybe something different.
some of us know how that
Realization Canadians cannot be trusted. I've heard about some of the crimes they've committed. It's like, Canada, polite, helpful, don't look into the past.
ended. but the game was enjoyable.
Damn, Canada, you scary.
2 hours, though a
Oh, wow.
combination of both my location and limited gaming experience didn't have me rushing to come back to it. I literally had to borrow Play on Tabletop's Ethernet cable and set up on a stool in the back of their studio.
Oh, he was one? Oh, wow. His paint job is actually very nice. I'm having envy right now. I cannot get that kind of detail in. Not the correct hand control. Just the eyes. I can never get the eyes. I always smear around everything but the eye. And then when I try to do it on purpose, I only get the eye and a little bit of the back corner. It never, it had the mismatch.
They let me do it, and they were very kind for it because it was
So he streamed the game.
Lie in the hold. Slowly, I get more and more people asking me when I'm going to continue Lies of P, telling me
Was he able to
it's
continue the
only
demo,
better
I
and
expect?
better with time. And it wasn't until a real life friend of mine who is actually a diehard Souls fan said it was one of his favorites of the genre.
Okay, I see why he tried it. I have a masochistic like of Soul games. I suck. I absolutely suck at Souls games. I have bought all of them. I have played all of them. I actually finished the second Dark Souls, and I actually really enjoy it because I love some of the levels that everyone else hated. Not the swamp levels. If you find someone who likes the swamp levels, you are either the director of the game or should seek medical attention, because all the other people who would find you and probably reenact Dark Souls in real life. But then beyond that, getting that kind of praise that this is one of your favorite from someone who loves the genre, I would definitely listen to that. It's like having someone who's a massive headbanger talk about baby metal. And it's like, wait, what? It's called baby metal and you love it? I've actually got the recommendation. It's how I even found out the band in the first place to get that recommendation out right now. It is actually really hardcore when they want to be. It just looks like it's true, which is their entire shtick. So I can see why he would take this recommendation if this is what got him.
And genuinely competes with the mainline entries.
Oh, wow.
I generally hold his opinion on Souls games in pretty high regard. So at that point, it was about time to hop back and see. So, how does
Still
it
a terrible
compare?
name.
Well, it's really, really good, with a few
Whoa.
caveats. So, Lies of P has you playing as Pinocchio during...
Oh, so it's not just like Pinocchio, like it's actually Pinocchio. Also, I thought that was a girl for a minute.
The puppet rebellion that has taken over the city of Krat. Puppets have their own funny laws of robotics when they are made, but a fourth one is stapled on that says a puppet cannot lie. You have the ability to lie, and that's what makes you special and puts you as the typical chosen one plot to save the city from the horror.
Okay, so the reason we have different pieces on it is because they can choose to put the rubber nose on. Lovely. Oh my god.
Puppet rampage that's been ongoing, as well as some other stuff. The story is actually rather simple and not particularly engrossing in the first few hours. It's
that is actually very interesting. Normally, when you get to a Souls-like game, the story is not what you're there for. Some of the stories are really good in the backstory, in the lore they can give you, in environmental detail, in character detail, in item descriptions, but all of them kind of follow the formula of, you're not here for this. We know that. You know that. Get back to the cursing us for existing because you keep dying to a poison swamp. I'm not projecting. I'm actively describing my entire deal with Kaled. Yeah. So the fact they said it gets better because it wasn't good at the beginning, but then that would imply that it would be better later after that. Huh. A Souls game with a decent plot.
To introduce you to its world and its gameplay loop. The world is a serious high point, though, for the game, and actually takes you to far more locations than I had initially expected.
Really?
It starts off with the London Tube,
Runneth thy pockets.
mixing up into
Oh, it is basically just another puppet. Yeah, I noticed that.
the early 19th century British culture.
Is that oil coming off them? I thought it was blood at first, but no, if they're puppets, that makes more sense.
With a lot of Art Deco visuals and the clockwork.
Okay, I will be honest. I have an absolute love of Art Deco. So if I was running through this right here and seeing this floating globe with all the spinning aspects, I would just stop, even on a stream, and go, oh. And I would have absolutely no regrets. In fact, I'm not going to play the game because I suck so hard at these and they're rage-inducing. But that would be really cool.
and the clockwork steampunk aspect. These puppets,
Stargazer?
of course, are meant to be like clockwork enemies, so they mix gears and springs into that iconic kind of.
I'm assuming something gets weirder.
Movement. They're so.
Oh, giant one.
Even you, as a puppet, have a gear straining sound when you do special stagger attacks.
Oh, so even you hear it. And that's because he became a real boy, so that it sounds less
What
puppet.
does the best out of everything is that it combines every single Souls game into one. Makes
What?
sure each individual aspect is fully fleshed out, and then adds its own spin on it with other mechanics and character progression.
Oh, you actually get to choose. Oh, that is. Sorry. Whenever someone has tables and progression charts, my first real gaming experiences were Kingdom Hearts, the first one, and Final Fantasy X. So having an entire sheet that I could just plop things into is just, it's catnip to me, man. Is it good? No, it really wasn't. But I love it because probably Stockholm Syndrome from having put up with the one in Final Fantasy X. It's not a good reason, but it's my reason, damn it. I'm sticking to it because I probably have some mental illness keeping me at that point.
Which was a lot of words at once, and it probably didn't sound like I even said anything, so let me explain. Lectern, mustache,
Oh my God.
paper.
You forgot the suit and the cravat. Not a tie, a cravat of appropriate discipline.
When I consider a Souls game, there are three main factors: offense, defense,
Buildcraft?
build crafting. In some
Yeah, honestly, I suck at the first two, but build crafting is fun. Again, have I mentioned I should not be the person playing these games, but somehow I keep doing it? It's weird. I will go into all the obsession over this, look at Fighting Cowboys videos in great detail and still fail, but I will enjoy every second of that, and I still don't get it. Every time I say it, it sounds even weirder.
something like Dark Souls, your defense is primarily dodging as well as blocking. Your offense is a number of things, but
Or just
generally
use magic.
attacking after an enemy has finished their moves and provided you with an opening. The only thing that combines the two of these together is parrying, which is both defensive and offensive, but
Hate
difficult
timing.
and risky and doesn't always work. As far as character progression goes, you level up three main things: your weapon, gear, and stats. Stats
Yeah.
are upped by killing enemies and spending your souls. Your weapons are upgraded through shards found throughout the world, and then you upgrade the power and amount of Estus you have, your equipment.
Straightforward and really simple, but it works.
Messed around with this a little bit.
What?
Hunter's hat, cool coat, saw cleaver. It made parrying a much more common part of the game, being
Yeah, and defense was in there, and you quickly realize it was a trap. Don't.
easier and more rewarding, and also had you focus on being more aggressive by giving you the ability to regen lost health if you attacked directly after taking damage. Sekiro is a fascinating one because a main point of
Never
that
gotten into this
game
one,
is that
actually.
defense is offense. There are two ways to kill enemies: whittle their health down with just R1, 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 or fill a stagger meter for a killing blow, which is more like L1, L1, L1. So when an enemy attacks you over and over and over again, and you block properly, you are technically doing damage to them and building it up over time. The game also went much harder.
So that's what the
with
stagger meter
equipment
was.
upgrades with your
I got used to the stagger meter in Dark Souls 3, and was it Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring that put that? I think it was Elden Ring. So I got the idea of how that worked. Again, I didn't get a good idea of it because I suck. Have I stayed at that part? But I heard that's where they implemented it. I didn't actually see what the sword art was like when you saw it in that game. I probably will end up playing Sekiro. Not on stream, but I might actually do it. It sounds interesting.
prosthetic arm, giving you a whole new avenue of dealing damage and defending yourself. Lies of P takes literally all of that. Every single one of
Prosthetic
those
arm,
games,
yeah, because he's a
and
robot.
puts it
Or
in their game, and
doll.
then adds even more options on top of that. When it comes to defense, I mean, defense alone, you have multiple methods in dealing with the enemy.
Not just
easiest of
rolling?
These all is the simple block. Blocking is completely effective as an option, but it actually deals a substantial amount of chip damage to you. However, that
so it is. Whoa, that is a very fucked up face on this guy. Wow. So you take chip damage, but it is a good way to stop from being insta-jibbed. Not bad. Huh. I'm guessing parrying's the step up where it blocks them.
actually the Bloodborne rally system. So even if you block a few hits, when the enemy provides you with an opening, you can then regain everything. If you get enough.
Ooh, that's a nice mechanic to have in.
After that, you have your classic dodge, which is still useful.
Oh, wow. No. Oh, I thought they're just going the creepy aesthetic so hard here. It's like it's such a cool, refined location. It's bright, it's colorful, and then it somehow makes these creepier because you see how they could fit in, but then it's just worse. Oh God.
A normal dodge is useful. You get your iframes, and you can use it just
dodge still has
way
iframes.
of an enemy swings. There's also an upgrade that allows you to do a dodge mid-dodge to make it even more useful. But the
one, Chun-Li, two, so you could double dodge. So if you're about to end the dodge, you can get out of the way if you've made a mistake. That sounds useful.
Strongest and probably riskiest of all of them is the parry. We're talking the parrying, of course, carries the similar issue that you need to have very specific timing, and missing that timing is detrimental.
Timing I do not have. Dead. Wait. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Parrying is hard, huh? I'm assuming great reward though.
Not only does doing a perfect parry.
Oh, okay. I thought this was Bloodborne for a second. So yeah, it does eventually go biological, and that is creepy.
A perfect parry keep you alive. It also damages the enemy's posture and even their weapon.
Wait, what weapon?
If you parry enough times, can even break, and this includes bosses. Enemies will all.
I'm so used to the idea that the boss is just an immortal block you have to whittle away at. It's one of the few things that every now and again a Dark Souls game would have that boss where, yeah, if you do certain things, you can break off something. Again, Dark Souls 1, dragon coming down from the tower, you can shoot his tail to get stuff. But I don't remember that happening much else in other games. So anytime you can break things off from a boss, that's such a cool mechanic to me. It's not just a reward you get at the end, but something you could aim for. I could never actually do it because I sucked, but I always loved that it was in there because it was adding so much potential, just replayability and just cool things you could do. I'm getting hyped for this game. I'm not going. No, Bricky, you're not getting me into another one. You already got me into Frostpunk, and maybe making another Warhammer army I didn't intend to do. Fuck. No, I mean this is I need to maybe just hide my credit card when I watch his videos.
Also do special red attacks that you cannot do iframe dodges through.
Wait, no iframe.
But you can perfect parry. In fact...
Wait. So you can actively parry the shown attack that you can't iframe. Oh. So even though an iframe is easier and they give you the double dodge, they have attacks that they tell you, not gonna dodge this one, but you can parry it. Usually I see the red glowy attack and my mind is wired to think, okay, you can't parry this, you can't block it, run. Use iframes, get the fuck out. But this would actually probably throw me off a lot until I did that.
Actually, parrying as a mechanic, despite normally being super high risk, high reward, might not actually be as risky as you might think. Failing a
because you can get health back?
You get hit like in a Dark Souls game.
Oh.
Rather, you instead will just end up blocking the attack and not getting the bonuses you normally
oh.
Perfect parry.
So you take chip damage, which you can get back by hitting them, but you can still get the block. So it's actually not high risk, high reward. It's minimal risk, high reward. So you should always try. That's both really scary on the face of it, but really, well, kind of approachable when you stop to think that it's not punishing you for missing time. It just lets you take the second best option that you might have done anyways.
But that's not a terrible thing, because as we've discussed, blocking hits will hit you with a bit of damage, but that damage is healable. So if an enemy runs at you with a 4-swing combo and you perfect parry the first 3 but mess up the last, you'll still hit the enemy with attacks.
It's just not as good.
And heal up the damage you took via the rally mechanic. Honestly.
Also, can we just talk about how this entire boss seems to have one specific weakness? Hit him in the crotch. Just hit the guy in his flaming crotch. I mean, you know the jokes I'm not trying to make here. I'm not trying to make them at all. I'm not saying anything about how, the puppet is going to shove his long, pointy metal rod into the flaming crotch for extra damage. It sounds horrible, and I'm going to stop here because I think we all get the point at this point. To the point of the matter, even.
The rally mechanic. Honestly, this game defensively plays a lot closer to Sekiro than it does to a traditional Dark Souls. All options are usable, but parrying enemies
that's disturbing.
becomes the best course of action. And everything can be parried, from swords to slams to projectiles to, oh, I don't know, literally lightning. You know
what?
The meme in the indie.
You meme parry lightning. Oh, I would have so many time, just all the time, wrapping my head around this and failing regardless.
Game where the guy parries a nuke. It wouldn't surprise me if Twinkathy Chardonnay here could do the same. I think that will actually create the biggest skill difference, perhaps.
Timothy Charlemagne. I'm assuming that was the YouTube title he used at the beginning. Okay, yeah, that one's on me for missing it.
One might even say skill issue between people who try to play the game entirely while dodging versus those that play it more parry-centric. The same issue happened when Sekiro dropped. Some didn't realize how to adapt. It's not as drastic here. Dodging does still work well.
So you have options, but there is a best one.
The way you master the title and will help.
I just realized what this system of blocking reminds me of. And it's not Dark Souls. It's Revengeance, where, yeah, you could block, but parrying was always a better option, and you just failed to parry if you did it wrong, which is good, because I failed frequently. Huh.
Help you against the game's toughest bosses. But
that's only the defensive aspect.
Defensive options.
What if
you want to lie about offensive options?
Lie?
Well, there are far more things here than I had initially assumed, and they kept expanding more and more. So for your weapons outside of boss weapons.
Bad donkey?
Guess we'll see you there. Yep.
What?
Normal weapons are split into two parts, a handle and a blade. The blade is...
Yeah, blade from the movies. So you actually make your weapons. You don't just get one and work on it. You actually improve it. Wintry Rapier's blade +1. Material ergo? What? I don't know what these words mean yet.
What you level up with your moonstones. This game's Titanite shards, but the handle determines your scaling. They also change up what your weapon arts are going to be because...
Oh, so you can actually get a really good blade that you really love, you put everything into, and then change out what it scales. I see the theory crafting on this is going to be really difficult because that's just with the weapon alone.
Each weapon has a handle and a blade weapon art that is utilized through the blue bar at the top. It's all kinds of special wacky...
Oh, that is disturbing looking.
Perhaps you really like the hefty sword of one weapon, but the scaling of another handle. Well, you can then mix them together to create an entirely unique weapon. Well, what if the scaling isn't what you were hoping for? Well, then you can find and purchase cranks in the world.
Cranks?
Just the scaling farther into the thing you wanted to go to.
So not only do you have the option of scaling, you can you improve the scaling, and it would be the way to upgrade the handle as well as the blade. Oh, I am going to play this game, aren't I?
So you aren't limited to a certain weapon moveset or even a certain weapon scaling. It's all...
Oh, so it actually is the moveset that changes. It's not just how it looks. It does change how it plays, and that would be a thing that happens in Dark Souls because every weapon had a very specific playstyle. Ooh.
Changeable if you have
and
the materials to do
you wouldn't be limited
and that's
then.
Just your primary weapon.
What?
Much like Sekiro, you have a prosthetic arm that can be outfitted with tons of other options. Flamethrower, shock blast, acid thrower, explosive sticky grenade gun, harpoon.
Okay, you had me at flamethrower there. We got harpoons.
All kinds of things that have their own scaling and also can be leveled up in their own way for both.
Okay, seriously, this is so Dark Souls. It's not even funny right now, man.
Bonus effects. And the level up is also specifically for fancy effects and not just more damage, because damage has its own scaling. And if you think we're done, we aren't, because throwables in this game
are actually useful.
Slap. These are the best throwable items I have ever seen in a Souls game.
Okay, can I just say right here, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it looks like it's wearing shades. I don't think it is, but it looks like it's wearing some really dark sunglasses right now, just going like, "Sup, guys."
seen this Souls.
It's terrifying. It has a lot of health though.
Insane amounts of damage to the point of being a build in their own right. Thermite, grenades, spears, saws, all kinds of crazy options to utilize. And then, because we aren't done, there's the grindstone, which allows you to head to Wall Street and make $1 gorillion. Once per your life/bonfire reset, you're able to do this elemental affinity or other kind of upgrade, much like the paper in other games, where you hit the grindstone with your weapon and fire, acid, guard power.
Oh, to give it the additional buff.
Unlike other games, it's not a limited item. Sure, it's only once per life.
Oh, that is disturbing.
Reset, but that means that every time you go fight a new boss, you can pop it every single fog wall, whatever that.
So if you die and reset, you get to get the buff again.
That thing is. And adding to all of this, you then have the quartz system with your P organ. That's right.
But what?
You then have the quartz system with your P organ. That's
oh yes, the P organ. We just been showing him using his P organ on everyone, including when he just spat all that hot sticky grenade at everyone. It just came right out, man. He just had to cock his hand a bit. Bricky, why are you doing this to me? You know what you said, man. You know what you said. I see the look on your face. You know what you said, damn it. I'm trying so hard not to be a 5-year-old. I'm failing, but I'm trying, damn it.
That's right. They call your heart a P organ. I'm sure it's just a strange Korean translation of some sort, but goddamn.
Wait, Korean? This is a Korean game? Oh, shit. That's actually not what I was expecting at all.
They called it a P organ. This is an entirely separate skill tree in addition to your normal leveling up system, adding bonuses in 4 different departments that unlock major things like more healing cells, more amulet, which is kind of like rings, stats, increased grindstone uses, other insanely good upgrades. And even after this, I'm probably missing another form of progression or some other way to level up your character. And
it almost seems like this game is really hard and difficult until you realize you can level up everything. So if you try and grind anything, you can do some crazy ass shit. This actually seems really cool. And I'm sure there's probably someone who has played the game without using any leveling at all just to prove that they could. I mean, there's always that sweaty tryhard, and frankly, it's kind of fascinating to watch, but at the same time, just terrifying.
This all feels overwhelming. Let me tell you, it's not. It's paced at such a perfect speed.
So you have it just when you need it.
Just at the right time.
Is that a tree growing golden coins, specifically the Chinese coins? I recognize the square in them, or it could be Japanese. I don't actually remember which country did that.
When you are comfortable with every other system of the game, and so I never felt overwhelmed, never felt like skipping a part of it. Every single thing was useful and was genuinely exciting to utilize to its fullest. In my playthrough, I ran a technique advanced build, which is basically a mixture of dex and magic. I normally run big boy, Kirk Hammer, big strength, thick man in all other Souls games. So
yeah, I've done that. And then for some reason they took out magic in certain games and I sucked at them. Yeah, I'm the guy who ran around with magic until I decided to respec into strength, and it actually was just as fun.
Wanted to swap it up for a game that appeared to be much faster in speed. I used a rapier for a while, and then I used the lovely umbrella attack.
Wait, what?
Boss that would block and parry enemies when it opened up, which is really...
Wait, there's actually an umbrella? It's not just a joke meme weapon? How many weapon varieties are there here? That actually sounds really cool.
Badass. I then moved on to a curved sword for a bit, and then I utilized this anime sword that I got from a boss, which lets you do this wacky spin move, but then if you timed it perfectly, it acts as a parry, which is really, really cool. But I ended my whole build with a special acid spear. I also put a ton of points in weight capacity.
He just went for the spear and it's like, hey, I'm going to take the ultimate attack, stabbing people. Admittedly, it works.
capacity, so I could carry immensely heavy but amazing amulets too. So by the end, I
What
had
do the
an
amulets
acid
do?
spear with an acid flinging arm, a grindstone that did higher critical damage when procced, amulets that increased damage on perfect parry, multiple attacks, and a special Balatro Gamba amulet that had a 1 in 6 chance for me to not consume a Estus when I used it. And let me just say,
Wait. So there's a 1 in 6 chance. I mean, for a gacha player, that's like saying almost guaranteed that you could get healing for free for something you're going to use anyways. That's kind of amazing.
I crushed that game.
Final boss? Awakened
We
God?
win! Was that 2 tries?
2 tries!
Hey, I did it. Let's go. First try. I didn't farm enemies.
And the real
once,
final boss.
though. I was relatively good at not dying too much and spending my souls when I could to level up. I cleaned house. Few things actually gave me trouble. And that leads me to maybe my slight complaint. I have.
And I see where he's going on this one. Because there's so many ways to get stronger, it's kind of like I thought. This game is only hard if you let it be hard, huh? It might actually be one of those cases where if I can survive long enough to start grinding anything, I might be able to play this game. I'd still fail because apparently parrying requires skill. I mean, who'd have thought that? But that sounds really fascinating, actually.
With Lies of P. Now, take this with a monumental grain of salt, like a grain so large it makes other grains self-conscious.
It's not the size, man.
A lot that the bosses were nerfed and weapons rebalanced along
Oh?
the game's launch.
Oh, they used to be
some,
harder.
I totally saw that. The fight against the Archbishop definitely felt like it had its health lowered. But even with that, I
What
just
the hell?
cleaned a lot of the bosses at a speed I did not expect. Could it have been my build? Sure. Could it have been the nerfs? Totally. But
Oh, the Iron Giant.
here is the list of times I died.
Green Monster 11. And he's the only one in the double digits, followed by Laxasia, the complete at 9. And that's kind of it. And Otis Black Rabbit at 5. Oh, they're all references to things. Black Rabbit seems like a reference to Wonderland, maybe?
Against every
39 deaths
single
from
boss
bosses.
in this game. I don't know. Maybe
There's a lot of zeros.
gamer? Maybe I'm just a parry god with a good build, a little column A, a little column B. But I
Did he just block all those just by blocking and then parry them by blocking alone? That seems powerful.
honestly wish the game was harder. It lacks a bit of enemy variety, especially in the end game. It's mainly just diseased human or rampaging puppet with variations of them. They do go pretty far with the concept, in fairness. There are a lot of newer enemies they keep adding in, but those were the two main enemy types, and I probably would have preferred a third one at some point. Actually, there was a specific area, an opera house about halfway through the game.
That, God damn it. We saw bits of this earlier with those crazy spiders, and it looked cool then. And this is so freaking beautiful, man. I love fighting in beautiful areas and getting like the most hardcore, grindy, I'm going to hate every second about this shit. But every game that does it is always in a dark, dingy basement or a dungeon or a cave. And it's like, oh, yeah, environmentally depressing. Lovely. Because that's the aesthetic that Dark Souls attributed to every single game that goes Souls-like. This is, I mean, I saw it had the dark, dingy stuff as well, but I would love to play in an area like just because I like playing in bright, open areas.
The game, it was really interesting. It was puppets.
Creepy as fuck,
but the
though.
puppets there were much different with these big strings.
Oh, like marionettes.
They used a very specific status effect. It was probably my favorite area in the entire game. It sounded incredible, visually amazing. The boss was fantastic.
Whoa.
It doesn't last too long, and I kind of wish we got more of it. Would have helped split up some of the reutilization of enemies.
It just blows up.
But yeah, I feel as if the bosses could have done with 20% more HP. I mean, be careful what you wish for, of course. I could do a strength build instead and absolutely hate myself and take back everything.
Can
I
you
said.
reset?
But regardless, that was my experience. I really cleaned this game, and I would have actually liked it to be a little bit harder. Though the game most certainly didn't lack for boss options and styles. The creativity on display here is impressive in a ton of
Oh, the environment breaks
initially
too.
came to this game thinking you would mainly be fighting against the rampaging puppets, but going into this creepy horror aspect about a quarter into the game was definitely not something I was really expecting.
Oh,
They found a way to combine the two of those into their own horrific abomination.
Oh, and we saw the Parade Master, and this is the Corrupted Parade Master with all the corruption. That is...
which then made more
Oh.
unique move sets, attack patterns, and ways
For
to
something we recognize, but
even
slightly
managed to
different.
gank fight in a way that didn't suck, and I dare say might be the best gank fight I have ever
Gank
played.
fight? Oh, because they're just gonna kill you easy.
I've seen.
Intro! That was the intro fight? Oh. Black Rabbit? Oh yeah, that mentioned that was one of the enemies. Assuming there's like some kind of rabbit enemy. What? Liar?
The Black Rabbit Brotherhood is a fight that just can absolutely clap you, but it does this awesome thing where the big guy is always around as a threat, but the other three arrive one at a time and do their own special moves. And the fight goes big guy, then girl, tall brother, red scarf brother, but the big guy again, but he's always there at some point.
So basically it teaches you how to get away from the bigger threat while taking on the threats you can.
It's a really hard fight.
So pay attention.
Ones I just think is super rewarding, especially when you learn to parry against all the different kinds of moves. And I really liked it.
And it also means if you come back this as a later playthrough, knowing how to parry, it would probably not trivialize the fight, but make it very different.
Be the flip fight though, because I think for the most part every fight before the Black Rabbit Brotherhood you could do mostly dodging and get okay with.
Okay, so it's not the intro fight, it's the fight that shows you that you gotta level up your skill, or to put it a better way, get good, until you just level up everything and you don't need to get good because your character is.
I don't think you can do that fight mostly dodging. I think you need to learn to parry in that fight, and that might be one of the reasons people struggle with it so much, is because they didn't learn to parry. Once you figure it out, that fight gets a lot easier, but even with that, damn, it's something else. The whole game's package just delivered again and again in a way I didn't think it would.
What is that blue stuff? It's probably the corruption you mentioned.
I have against it is that its story's main villain is generic and his motivations are straight out of Resident Evil 4.
That's
Honestly, a lot of this game's story just feels like a rehash Resident Evil 4 in more ways than one. At least
on the upside, I've never played Resident Evil 4. I'm not going to. For anyone asking, I refuse. I have already been asked. I will continue to refuse that one because I'm a coward. So this would be a surprise if I'm planning to play it, aren't I? No, I will hold strong. I'm not going to. I'm going to preserve what's little left of my wallet. I'm not doing that again.
In its more traditional narrative. There's a difference between narrative and lore. The narrative of the game I find to be pretty mediocre and lacking in a lot of aspects. Its lore, however, is pretty good. I didn't know jack shit about Pinocchio or Geppetto outside of the, long nose thing.
I never actually read the original story, but I know the basics of it, so what's different here other than the turning on his head so he's supposed to lie?
So I need to do a little bit of digging after.
Also, I have no idea where this is from.
Especially since Lore Bishop Vaddy Video didn't have a video for me. After doing
this is gonna be embarrassing to say, but I've never watched a Vaddy video, and I like lore channels, so I don't know why I've never done that. I need to get on that.
So though, I do respect it in a lot of neat ways, how they told the story and how they twisted the aspects of Pinocchio a lot, even if I find that the overall narrative to be still a bit lacking. They do some twisted shit with that tale. It's weird because I always tend to trend towards I'll accept mediocre gameplay if the story's amazing and not vice versa. But maybe as I've spent more time playing games, especially for a living, I've moved to more of a middle ground. I didn't think I'd be intrigued by this game entirely for its gameplay the whole way through, but that's exactly what I did. It consistently delivered with brand new mechanics and impressive progression over and over again. And even when that part stopped, I was still curious to see what new boss ideas they would throw at me.
So there is a time where you can learn everything, unless he mentioned there might be more things he just didn't catch on to. So it holds your hand, it sounds like, but only to introduce you to all the different ways it can progress so that you find out more interesting ways to play the game. And then after a while, it lets you start to settle in. and you're just there for the actual fight itself.
I was
Okay.
disappointed at how quickly I beat them. I was not disappointed with how they played. Like, it's
I mean, you could probably mod difficulty though.
If you like your Souls games, you should pick it up for its gameplay alone. It's so strong that I might think it's a contender for the best Souls-like gameplay I've ever experienced. The way it blends all manners of defense and offense, its build crafting, its weapon crafting, the enemy design, the boss.
This actually looks good.
Genuinely, for this studio's first, I think, debut title like this,
I'm sorry, what? This is a first title. This is a debut title for an entire studio, and this is their first one. I mean, he's been saying in the very beginning of this video, FromSoft is the glass ceiling you can't break. Their first games were rough, man, and they are old. People love them. I think those people are insane because they somehow make the current Souls-like genre seem tame by comparison. Yes, I'm talking about Armored Core. And I know they made games before that, but I'm specifically referencing the first Armored Core games where it is literally an exercise in hating yourself to play that.
It holds a candle with the best FromSoft games. It's not my 2023 game of the year because Armored Core 6 still exists, baby. Stop fucking crying. But right now, it's totally worth the asking price. It also has teased the little Wizard of Oz style DLC/sequel, and I will absolutely be there for when that launches. But yeah, while you're
just
waiting
more
for the
stories
Elden
sit on the
Ring
back,
DLC to drop, I would totally pick
plundering all
this
the
game up.
18th
Just
century
make sure you
aesthetic.
learn how to parry well, and it's well worth it. It'll definitely keep you engaged all the way until the Elden Ring DLC. It is a fantastic time.
Which should be coming out soon, actually.
Really hit it out of the park. It is just a great package. It's got the Brickle seal of approval. I really am shocked at how good this game was. Also, Geppetto's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking puppet. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Wait, what? Oh, hell, I'm probably going to get this game. I'm going to suck at it because I can't parry. I have no sense of timing at all in game or in real life. I have tripped over my own 2 feet walking straight on a flat surface without any issues or potholes or breaks in it. So I'm that level of not coordinated. But I love how this looks. I love how we talked about all the building options, the theory crafting you could do, and all the combinations and just all the things you could throw at it. And I would love to go in there and just see, okay, what's the craziest shit I can do? This looks fun, man. I'm going to suck and it's going to be horrible, but I want to do this. Ah, God damn you, Bricky. Stop making me want to do this. Even your Battlefront review made me want to play the original game. I just, you are horrible on my wallet. Bricky is horrible on my wallet. He exists to say, hey, remember how you got that paycheck? Time to remove it. Oh, God. It looks so good. I was not expecting that. I thought it'd be an interesting review of a game that was attempting the Souls-like formula, but just the cool locations and it just, if there happens to be another stream after the Frostpunk one that maybe is about Lies of P, I might actually end up playing this and definitely fail to maintain maturity and not make jokes a 5-year-old would find entertaining because, yeah, I realize my level of humor here. I'm going to give up hard. Yeah, I said it. See, it's not even funny, but I've been holding off on that this entire time and it was pent up, man. I just should just shut up at this point. Oh, God. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one when he does Mass Effect because, damn. Or no, he said one more than Mass Effect. Either way, is he going to do the trilogy, Andromeda, or the original one alone? I don't know, and honestly, I don't really care, but it'll be interesting either way. I'll see you guys then, and yeah, if there's something else I should check out from Bricky in the meantime, let me know, because I've got a lot of good suggestions, and can you maybe request one that doesn't involve me paying however much money there is to do whatever he talks about, because I need to stop doing that. Thanks. I'll see you guys then. Again, link below, video, hit it up. I'll see you later. Adios.